Hi, I'm Christy Johns from Australian Online News. A turtle covered from head to flipper in barnacles was rescued by Currumbin Wildlife Hospital last weekend at North Kirra Beach. Tara, firstly, how was the turtle found and what condition was she in?
So she actually washed up on North Kirra Beach, just outside the Surf Lifesaving Club, and she was in pretty poor condition when we got there. So she was a bit lethargic, very weak, dehydrated, and covered in barnacles when we picked her up. So we assessed her when we got her back and gave her some fluids, and then SeaWorld picked her up in the morning on Monday and took her down there.
It's quite a disturbing picture of her with all her barnacles over her. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Yeah, so it's pretty common for stranded sea turtles to appear in that condition. Epibiota is what we call all the barnacles that accumulate on the shell, and that's quite normal for them in the wild. It's just that the healthy turtles are able to scrape these off themselves, and then when they do get sick, they get too weak to scrape them off, and then they do end up accumulating to the number that we saw on barnacles. So I've seen a few previously that have been in the state that she is, but she's one of the bad ones, definitely.
Yeah, and I noticed she has quite a big barnacle on her mouth. Was she able to open her mouth to eat?
Yeah, so she would have been able to open her mouth. However, because she is sick, she likely would have been unwilling to eat. And what the barnacles do when they accumulate in those numbers is actually cause quite a lot of drag to the shell. So they actually have to use more energy to get around, more energy to find food. So that would then lead to her feeling worse and not eating as much. So with that one on her mouth, it wasn't so much blocking her mouth from opening, but just the accumulation of those would have meant that it was a bit of a struggle for her to find food as well.
Yeah, so how's she going now? Give us an update on her condition.
Yeah, so she's been transferred to SeaWorld for her ongoing rehabilitation, and they're really good at what they do with their research and rescue foundation. So they have a full marine turtle rehabilitation system out in the veterinary area of SeaWorld, and I'm not sure how many they actually rescue and rehabilitate, but they keep them there as long as they need to, feed them up, make sure they're healthy before releasing them back into the wild. So my last report is that she's doing well and she's quite stable.
Fantastic. So what's the process of actually removing the barnacles?
Yeah, so because they're marine animals, the same with if you have aquarium fish with parasites. So in a freshwater tank, you would put them in salt water to kill any parasites on the outside. So you just do a freshwater bath and that kills off all the barnacles, and then eventually they'll just fall off themselves, which will make her feel a lot better as well.
And what type of species is she?
So she's an olive ridley, which is pretty rare for us to see here in southeast Queensland. There's not too many that usually come in. Our usual species are the green turtles or the loggerhead turtles with the occasional hawksbill. So talking to the SeaWorld vet, she said they've had 2 in this season and she's the second. So they're very few and far between here, but they are found globally, which is nice. So yeah, it's nice to see one in the waters.
Yeah, so is it likely they'll get all those barnacles off? I noticed she even has some inside her nostrils.
Yeah. So it does take a few weeks to get them all. Definitely the ones inside the nostrils are probably going to be the tougher ones, but they do such a good job, and every animal is such an individual case and individually cared for that the team will definitely get rid of all of those before she's released.
Okay, and her name Barnacles, who came up with that?
It was actually me, and it was meant to be an interim name until we knew what species she was. So I find it kind of funny that it's actually stuck. So yeah.
It's there to stay, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, thank you so much for your time and thanks for giving us that promising update.
No worries. Thank you, Christy.
For more, visit australianonlinenews.com.au.